Hey guys, it is Chad M. Smith here with the podcast. I'm in my favorite studio in the world, and just give a little update here on the podcast. Every week, we're going to be dropping new episodes mixed from my past and mixed in the studio here with the Venture Project. So guys, stay tuned on Instagram, Facebook, all our fun social media pages. Like I said, Battle Warrior Podcast is kicking back in gear. I am in Oshkosh. We are in the Venture Project studio, guys, and we're going to come at you with a... Stay tuned, guys. We have a phenomenal guest on the other end here. We have DOMO Jones, and we're going to be focusing on three topics in this talk. So we're going to be talking about Christian entrepreneurship, author with the book Earmuffs, correct?
Author with Earmuffs.
Yes. And then also, like I said, we're going to definitely focus on this one because she's got a phenomenal podcast called Don't Let the Disability Fool You. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. How are y'all? Y'all good? Y'all straight? Y'all chilling? Y'all villain? Y'all what? Like Chad said, I'm Domo. My legal name is Dominique, but nobody knows how to say it, so I'm just gonna chop it in half, and it's Domo. So a little bit background about my story. At 9 years old, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So that kind of left me being deaf in my right ear. My right eye was partially losing its sight. Right side stopped growing, while my left side was still growing. What up, y'all? Thank you, Chad, so much. Like you said, my name is Domo. My legal name is Dominique, but nobody knows how to say it. So we're gonna go with Domo. So just a little bit about myself. I am 33. I just turned 33, April 30th. Whoop, whoop. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor at 9 years old. I was deaf in my right ear for a little bit. My vision was impaired on my right side. Right side stopped growing. On my left side was still growing. And it was my right side is shorter than the other. And lost feeling, numbness, all that. So that kind of came with having a brain tumor. And I ended up having 2 brain surgeries. One when I was 9 and the other one when I was 14. They took out what they could. They couldn't take out everything because of where it was on my neck spine. So those of you that don't know, anything close to your neck spine is what causes you to walk, what causes you to stand, what causes your balance. So if you touch that, you could be paralyzed, you could be dead. So they couldn't get all of it, but they got what they could. So that left me with I did regain my hearing. My vision did come back, but that did leave me with my right side being shorter than the other and muscle weakness and permanent nerve damage. So that came with so many other, I don't want to say complications, but setbacks, I guess I would say. When I turned 16, actually the day after my 16th birthday, I had radiation because my tumor started growing back. And I had radiation for 5 days a week, 5 weeks. 5 days a week, five weeks. And I think the dope thing about that was I probably was the only patient that listened to music the whole time. Like, it was blasting. I definitely didn't like where I was because I had to stop school for a semester, but I meet So I'm like, I like music. So all y'all nurses, everybody in this whole department is going to listen to this gospel rap that I like because we about to set the atmosphere because that's what I do. Like, y'all gonna have to get with me. I'm not getting with y'all. Y'all can get with me.
Yeah.
So I literally had my the group name was Remedy, and it was a Christian rap group at that time. And I had it like on full blast the whole time I was doing radiation. I think that was probably the dopest because you're 16. You're going through this like trying time. It's supposed to be like the prime time of your life. And I'm doing chemo, I'm doing radiation. Like, no. So yeah, I think that was probably like the highlight of my life, I guess I would say, going. So that ended kind of well, very tired though. So then at 21, I was doing my regular check-ins with the doctor. And they were like, yeah, your tumor is growing back. And I'm like, well, I passed that 5-year mark. Now every 5 years it's supposed to grow. I'm at 6 years. So why, how is it growing? Didn't know, that's just how it worked. So they couldn't do surgery because they already did twice. You can't do it 3 times in the same spot. I already had radiation, can't do another dose of radiation because that's laser that's going in my skin. So the last resort was chemotherapy. So I did chemotherapy. Ended up doing chemotherapy for 6 years. I did 6. I did 187 chemo treatments in a time span of 6 years. And I would probably say the first 3 years of my chemo was probably the hardest because during those 6 years, during that 6-year gap, I was okay. I was working, I was driving, I was in school. I was living a pretty like normal life to my ability. So I was kind of like at my prime. Then I hit 22 and I get hit with this gut puncher of you got to do chemotherapy. So yeah, I couldn't drive because I was doing the injections as well as the chemo pills. So I was sick all the time. Every 2 weeks I had to do chemotherapy, and my daily routine was get the go to the hospital, get my labs done. Then the next day, get chemotherapy. I was done and I had to be driven home. I was asleep for about 5 days. Wake up, I was good for about 2. Then start the process back over. Labs, chemo. That was my whole life. That was it. That was all I could do. So that kind of took like a depressing role. I didn't know I was depressed, but I was eating a lot. I was just like at a low place. Right. So when I was finally able to be done with chemo, I kind of felt like, well, I don't have anything that I can do anymore because pretty much my life was like shut down to nothing, to just doctor's appointments. So I don't know how to do anything else. And then that's kind of where the entrepreneurship, is that a word? Yeah, I said it right. Entrepreneurship came, especially during the pandemic. That's when all my businesses came. Everything I do really came from the pandemic, for real. So I was around my friends, my really close circle of friends, and they were the ones that kind of pushed me into my businesses. So my first business is called Walking by Design. And that business includes me decorating and customizing medical walkers and aids. So anybody that has like medical aids that they use to walk, to help them move, then I customize them. And that stemmed from me. And I say that because I had to use a walker, and I still do. I used a walker at 23. That was the very first time I used my walker. And I'm still using it today. I'm a bright person. I got purple hair. My nose ring is lime green. Like I'm a bright individual. So I could not stand the little silver metal looking dry walker. Like, I'm not a grandma, so I'm gonna have to like switch things up a little bit, right? So what I did was I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm not gonna be able to walk with this walker if it has to look like this. Like, I just can't do it. So we decided to decorate it. Cool. We just started decorating it, just trying. First we tried like spray paint, then it got all in my car seats. We're like, can't do that. So started decorating with like other material, tape and flowers and bows and all that. And it came out pretty cool. I liked it for myself because this is what I do, this is what I use, and it was a part of me. But what kind of triggered the business aspect of it is because when I would go places, especially doctor's appointments or anywhere, I would always get stopped. Like, how do you have your walker like that? Like, I've never seen a walker decorated like that. Like, who does it? I'm like, yo, I do, because I don't like looking at silver walkers like you do. So I just kind of decorated my walker. And from then, that's what stemmed my business, Walking by Design, customizing walkers. And I do more walkers, but I did expand it to other things because not everybody has a walker like I do. So I want to kind of keep it fair. So yeah, that's where my first business, and my other business is called Salve. And that is an online retail store. What is it? Retail? Online store.
E-commerce?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Yes, it is an online e-commerce store, and that promotes my motto, don't let the disability fool you. And that's literally on everything that every merchandise that I have, every article of clothing, every bag, every shoe, everything. And that kind of stemmed from myself as well. When I was able to come to the point to where I was comfortable and confident in being disabled, I was like, yo, I can actually do more things than just what the common eye sees. And people would always be like, man, you're doing everything. Like, you can go here, you go there, like you still drive and all this, right? And I'm like, yeah, just because I have a disability doesn't mean that I'm not, independent. So that tagline came from literally myself. And I kind of felt like the tagline is so powerful. It's almost like you don't even have to say anything. You could just walk in the room and you'll see the shirt, you'll see the jacket, you'll see the backpack, and they'll know, like, yeah, you may see a walker, you may see this, you may see that, but don't let it diminish what I can do. Like, don't think that I'm incapable of doing anything that I want to do. It just looks differently than you. Yeah, so those are where my two businesses stem from. And like I said earlier, those literally came from the pandemic. I started my Walking by Design in March, a week before the pandemic hit. And I was so mad. I was so mad because the walker, it's a physical contact thing, because I have to get your walker, I got to see you, all that. And I was like, well, that's whack. And then the salve came in May. I was like, well, the world is online now, so let me do something else to promote. Yeah, so those literally came during the pandemic. My books. So I have 2 books that I've written, 2 self-published books. They are both nonfiction. My first book is called, it's a hashtag actually, Damaged But Not Dead. And that came from literally my story. I told you guys like a brief synopsis of my story, but there's so much more to it. And it's the view from, it's from my view, I guess I would say. It's my thoughts, my emotions, my view, my everything. That book was probably the very first time I actually express my emotions, because going through so much at 9, starting at 9, you're 33, you don't really start to not feel, because you just know you got to do it. So let's just knock it out. So I didn't really, when people ask me like, what was it like going through chemo? What was it like going through radiation? I don't know. I just did it because I know I had to. I want to live. So it's just like brushing your teeth. You got to do it. You don't think twice. So that was my mindset. But at the end of the day, I was really going through something that most people probably wouldn't even be able to go through for a week. And I was going through it for 6 years. I was going through it for 5 weeks, 5 days a week. So what did that look like? So that book stemmed from literally my story. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this. The book is not a it's not a typical read. Meaning like it's not, yesterday I went to chemo and tomorrow, it's not. It's like, all right, so look, here's the thing. Boom, bop, bop, like it's how I talk. It's literally how I talk. I'm like, bro, okay, look, enough is enough. Like I'm tapped out. I'm sick of it. My doctor's getting on my nerves. Like it talks like that. So it's an interesting read. It's not depressing or sleepy. I know a lot of people that tell the story is like boring and dry. It's not at all. It's literally how I talk. My personality is the entire book. And my second book is called Self-Talk, But You Can Eavesdrop Too. And that book is a compilation of about 100 quotes, affirmations, sayings that I used to help me when I was going through those dark and tough times of my disability, and just those low moments that I was going through. These are quotes and sayings that help me just kind of get my mind back on track, to remind me that what I'm going through is for a purpose. So it helped me. I just thought that make a book of it because I'm not sure who it may help, whether they be disabled or not. These are general sayings and quotes that anyone can use, anyone that's going through anything, to just help them push past, that moment, and remind them that this is only, whatever they're going through is only temporary. That is my second book. Now I am in the process of writing my third book, and that book, I'm gonna give y'all a sneak peek. Let y'all in on my third book. So my third book is going to be, what did I name it? It's called When I Say It to One. Okay, boom. When I Say It to One. And that book is about what it looks like being a pastor's kid, but being a pastor's kid times 2, because both my fathers are pastors. So I am in a whole different world from everybody. You don't find too many people that have their dad and their stepdad both pastors. from 2 different denominations. So, yeah, what that looks like in the world of DOMO, pastor's kid times 2, what that look like, what you be dealing with, for real, the behind the scenes, right? So yeah, that's gonna be my next book. Pretty interesting. I don't like writing. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. So I've written 2 books, writing my third. I do not like reading at all. Can't stand it. I cannot stand reading. I don't know how I became an author, but I just do not like reading. And that is my goal for 2021, to read more. Have I started? No. I should start with my first book at all, actually, because I haven't even opened up my books. They're just sitting on the shelf. I just do not like reading. I do not like reading at all. I can't stand it. I get so bored. But
I was gonna say that me and you're in the same boat. I don't want to say it's a reason. Not even that. It's I rather do a visual or audio.
yeah.
And I'm gonna be in the same boat as you. It's my issues. I'm hyperactive, and it's not an issue. It's how I am.
Yeah.
I got like a superpower of just energy, and
Right.
yeah. So for me, I have to be in certain moods to write,
Yes.
to read, to whatever. And it's not a mood thing. I can't be sitting down reading when I'm going wide open.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be in the same boat as you. I'm going to clarify starting. I'm finishing my class here through church, which is a mental health class. That's going to have, obviously we have the class outline. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my notes from it to kind of break through. But yeah, I'm going to be that kid that drank too much growing up. So I got baptized when I was young. I lived, it is what it is, but like I lived around a family. I'm in the Midwest. So like we went out to Friday night fish all the time on Fridays. I lived in bars, but my family liked to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I was around the environment. I grew up fast because I was around kids 4 or 5 years older than me. So, but I was drinking when I was 13. So like coming through a kid that passed high school, got like a 2 3/4 in tech school, and then went to college and failed out of college. And then found out you had a learning disability and you're not say dyslexic, but you have issues with reading. And anxiety and all that stuff. When it's faced with that and being around people that knew you had issues, I completely I took the pain out with alcohol. So
totally understand.
Yeah, I got kicked out, but then we got me back in. But yeah, no, I was down to the last test in my math class, and it was a retake of the math class.
Oh man.
I had to get a B plus or more, and I actually got an A minus to get.
Oh, that's good.
To get graduate. But yeah, coming from a kid, and my family keeps joking with me, or at least, my sister, siblings and stuff. They're like, you went through all this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be an author down the road. They're like, wait a minute here. And now they believe what's going on, but they're like, you're a podcast host. You're on YouTube for a YouTube show, and now you're going to be an author and you guest speak. I'm like, yeah. They're like, what the heck happened? In a joking way, because
what shifted?
Yeah, like me and you know how to, or you and I, sorry, English is a little bit more weaker on my end. So English and math are, whatever. I have my traits I need to work on. I noticed that when I'm present with the podcast, when I'm present with writing, when I'm present speaking, I'm me, like you. It comes out my language. It comes, and once I got past that perception of just people saying you gotta be like this, you gotta be like that, whatever, and I just said, fuck it. Oh, sorry. That's my podcast. Never mind. I'm just gonna be me and go forward with it. But it's by the end of the year. Depends on the process of how it gets published and all that stuff. I want the groundwork completely done. I'm gonna bite my tongue in how I say this, but by September.
Listen, speak it.
Yeah, and I want it off of my hands because I like the deer hunt and I like the duck hunt. So hunting starts here October-ish, October, November. And by the time you get November, you already know that you're rolling in the holidays. So it's going to be fall time frame. It can get put together fast. It can be put together slow. There's days I can sit down and just write. And then there's days where I just be like, have to write 2 words. And I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with that. I think the writing aspect is probably the hardest part because you really have to like think and like delve into whatever topic that you're discussing or whatever topic that you're writing. And then even if you're writing about yourself, you just got to think of those actual moments and kind of expand on them instead of just writing a sentence. Like you got to kind of paint that picture. So I definitely understand that. It's a process, but I think the beauty of it is when you actually see the work that you put in, like tangibly in your hands. Like, dang, I actually did this. I think that's the reward. It's like, dang, wow, that's crazy. Like I actually thought about it, then put it on paper, then went through the process, the ups and downs, highs and lows of getting this done. And then to actually see it physically in my hands, looking at the pages, seeing my name on a laminated book, it's just kind of dope. For sure.
There's one thought that came in my mind and it just completely disappeared. So we're going to save that for a different time. Oh, no, it just came back. I'm looking, did you look at it as if you can change one person with that book, you made your day?
Yes.
So,
and I'm so like literally one person, and I actually use that with my whole life. Anytime I talk, if I can just change, or I don't even want to say change, if I can just turn on the light bulb, give a different perspective of someone, just with my life and my walk, I feel like I've done my job. Because changing, I don't want to change anyone. Like that's not my goal. Because only God can change someone. That's not my that's gonna be difficult because can't nobody change me if you don't even know me. But I would like to give my goal is to give people or a person a different perspective on life, on challenges, on overcoming, just on the downfall of the things that they go through. Some people don't know how to come out of it, and some people feel like, you know, when they deal with the lows of their life, there really is no light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of people just kind of like sulk in it. And I love to remind people, like, for me, example, the reason why, that's why I say everybody's like, man, you're so positive, you're so like happy, you deal with like so much stuff, like how the heck? And I'm like, my mindset is the reason why God has given me this life and this body to live into and to deal with daily is because, one, I am a walking visible testimony of how God works. Because some people need visualization. You can't just say like, God is a healer, God is good, God kept me. No. I need to see that thing.
Yeah,
that's
me too.
Right. Like one, that's me. I'm a walking miracle. Because I've never heard ever, and there ain't no test in the world that has told me that anybody has dealt with 6 years of chemotherapy, 187 chemo treatments, and they have all their hair, their kidneys not failing, and they still able to talk and breathe and still drive. And I've never heard of that ever. That's a miracle right there. And two, Another aspect is this life that I'm living is not for me. Like everything that I'm going through, this ain't for you. This is not even your body, one. And two, I'm my body, and the reason why I have to go through other things is to show people that they can go through the things too, but still able to come out of it. What I deal with and what I have dealt with is a little pillar, I guess I would say, of the bigger picture that God is real. And that's the main thing, that's the main focus. Everything that we should do, everything that this world comes to should always focus on God, like everything. And anytime I talk, anytime I speak, it should always go to giving God his due diligence, like leading people to God. Because at the end of the day, if you tell me, if you ask me or tell me like, dang, tell me your story, tell me what you've been through, tell me how you did this, tell me how you did that, tell me about your book, everything that I do is going to lead back to God, because I couldn't have done this all by anything but all by myself. Nothing. I have 14 tattoos. All my tattoos are all my tattoos are, I guess I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Conversation starters.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Conversation starters. Because I have a tattoo that says healed. I have a tattoo that says made whole. But you're seeing me with a walker. How? Sit down, let me tell you. I have a tattoo that says, what's the tattoo say? Sufficient grace. How? You had radiation, you had chemotherapy. How? Let me tell you. Let's talk about it. So everything that I do, and my goal is to remind people everything that you do, whether it's bad, it always is going to turn out to glorify God. It could be the worst thing, but you never know who may be dealing with your same story or something similar and don't know how to come out of it. But if they see you, and if they hear even a little pinch of your story, and they're like, well, dang, that's crazy. She's been through that, but she's still over here talking and laughing. I guess my story ain't that bad. I guess I can kind of go another day.
I actually had that last week. And
really?
It finally put a smile. I don't want to say finally put a smile on my face during this class, and we're not going to get too in depth of it because of the legality side of it. But my story was obviously, people that know my divorce and stuff know my backstory. The ones that know me deep, going through it, you lose all kinds of weight. You feel traumatized. You're going through all this grief and stuff, and they're just, they're in there just saying the same thing and just going through it, and people are trying to answer it differently. And I'm just sitting there going, I'm like, I got this. Like, even when it went around, like in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm your guy. Like, yeah. And all of a sudden, like, I actually had to pause both of the guys. I said, hey guys, I apologize for doing this. I'm like, all three you guys need to hear this. Yeah. And it's not like, hey, if God's going in, laying everything out, I'm gonna let everyone have their respect. But like, I'm just shaking in the couch when they're going, because I'm like, I'm the perfect one for them. I'm the perfect one. It's like, coach, put me in. Yeah. And finally, just boom. And we talked about it, whatever it was, and like, both, like, the people that I stopped them. They looked at like, oh my God, we didn't know about that. And I looked at the guy. I said, here's the deal. I said, you're, whatever the situation was, I'm like, you're X time frame into it. I'm like, you could be okay tomorrow. I'm like, it's taken me almost 3 years to be okay. But I'm like, on the positive side of it, I'm okay. Right. And there's more involved behind the scenes and stuff, but that's the legal side of it. When you walk through the doors, it's like what stays in Vegas happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. So we're just kind of brief between all four of us. They're going to leave that conversation between us, but
right.
I'm just sitting there smiling. I'm like, no way. And then not pausing, but like just these little tiny, like I said along, the further along the journey you go with being in sync with them, being in sync with the three pillars, you get it, the three pillars, you know what I'm talking about. And the people that get it, all of a sudden these little tiny things just occur. And you're like, okay, this is what he's using me for. And it's not, like I tell people about this podcast, I can't be cocky about this or arrogant about it. I know this is a gift. So why be that, okay, not say why be the guy that waves the flag, but like I'm approaching this as a very humbled direction.
Yeah.
Because I know if I wasn't cleaned up, I would not have this gift in my lap. So, but I'm done preaching on my end. Where can everyone find your podcast, or vice versa? Where can everyone find you on social media?
Definitely. So yeah. So my podcast is called Don't Let Disability Fool You. And that is the podcast that I interview disabled people as well as essential caregivers, just giving them a platform to share their story. And how they break the stigma beyond their condition. That's on every podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, all of them, everyone, Buzzsprout, Anchor, everything. And you can find me on social media. My IG page is at Smile with Sneakers. That is that's my main one, and that tags you into literally everything I do. I do have a website as well, and my website address is www.thedomojones.info. Yeah.
I'm gonna end it right there. Thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.